Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your girl, Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. Look, I really don't even know how I'm even here and even looking a little bit decent today with the way that I've been feeling all day, but I'm excited to be gracing my presence with you guys, even if I'm not feeling up to it, bags and all. We have an amazing guest tonight, Suzanne Johnson, guys. Coming in the building. She's the financial coach, and we're going to talk about all things personal finance, budgeting, and everything that you guys need in your personal lives to really be able to effectively manage your business finances. Honestly, I've noticed that when an individual client does not manage their personal finances properly, their business is chaotic. Look, I've never really seen it happen like that unless they have someone else in their business running their finances for them. If they have a bad habit on the personal side, the business looks just as bad. So guys, if I were you, I would grab my pen, my paper, whatever drink or libation that you guys are going to have tonight, and join us while we talk about everything personal finance with Suzanne Johnson. So what we're going to do, if you're not following us, go to bit.ly/get notified TMZ. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take a little quick break while we give you guys time to grab your pen, your paper, and share the video if you're watching us on like Facebook or Periscope or anywhere else. And then we'll be right back in a few minutes. right, guys. Welcome, 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 welcome. So I'm like so excited. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, Periscope is down. So you guys need to definitely head over to RipRadioNetwork.com so you guys can catch all of the replays within 24 hours, and then go to all of your podcast platforms to hear the video of all of our shows. So guys, tonight we're going to talk about how to break the cycle of debt and what other tools and stuff that you guys can use to be able to do this. And so before we took our intermission break, right, I mentioned that most of my clients that have poor business habits always had poor personal financial habits. So guys, help me welcome Susan Johnson to the building. Susan Johnson is the owner and head coach at Grace Financial Coaching. She's a qualified Ramsey preferred coach. Suzanne has been teaching and guiding clients in the financial methods of Dave Ramsey for 6 years. She works with motivated individuals, couples, and families to develop strong financial habits so they can experience a more stable future and carefree life. Look, guys, two things she said: carefree life and stable future. Okay, her exclusive program is called the GRCE technique, which stands for guidance, resources, accountability. You know, guys, I'm the accountability accountant, so I like that, Susan. Communication and evaluation. Suzanne coaches clients one-on-one as well as in group coaching settings. Americans talk more about sex, politics, and religion more than they talk about money. Personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% math. So as you are the solution to your problem, her goal is to look at her client's situation through a larger lens, identify the bad behaviors, create new ones, and provide objectives, advice, and accountability throughout the process. So guys, help me welcome Suzanne Johnson to the Money Zone, guys.
Hey, Folasade. Thank you so much for having me.
Look, I'm so excited. Look, guys, during her intro, I didn't even tell you. So I'm a Dave Ramsey ELP. So, hey. Okay, so, yeah, so I'm so excited because one of my missions is to really help small businesses. But what I really realized was that if they're not doing their part on the personal side, it is challenging if they're the same ones that's managing the finances of the business. So from your professional experience, where do we start? Where do we go wrong in accumulating this debt? We're in the individual household. Where do we normally start off wrong?
Yeah, I would say we start off wrong, unfortunately, before we even get to a higher education level. Most of my clients, the first question I start off with during consultation, and let me tell you, this either makes or breaks the consultation, because if they don't want to answer this, we're not working together. The question is, what was money like for you growing up?
Wow.
And it elicits some unbelievable responses. I have had husbands and wives sitting in front of each other, and one or the other partner just completely break down in tears and share stuff that the other partner had no idea that they have gone through. I had one wife literally look down at a piece of paper very stoically, no tears, and her husband's just looking at her to the side the entire time as she talked about how they weren't sure if they were going to have dinner on a nightly basis. And so when she was in high school, yeah, it was crazy. When she was in high school, her mother, thank God, was the one who squirreled away money on the side, and she made sure they had food on the table, even if it was a can of tuna fish between two kids, and they had food on the table. And she squirreled away money on the side and said, hey, you need to start a checking account. You need to start a credit card so that you can be responsible. How many 17-year-olds would you go run around and trust with a $10,000 credit limit? Would you hand a 17-year-old $10,000? No. So it's ridiculous that we hand these 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds a $10,000 limit credit card while they're on their way to possibly going to college or into the workforce.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
starts early.
it starts really early. And then
Mm-hmm.
also, like in my community, it was known that sometimes some of the parents would end up getting credit cards and stuff in the children's names. You talk about 7-year-olds and babies and things like that. So when you say 17, I'm like, oh my gosh, $10,000. Then just imagine that's, they have to have a lot of self-control and self-discipline. But now what about the people that was just self-imposed on them, to have very, very bad credit? So this is just okay. So do you think it's because of like TV? And because this is what I'm thinking, because of where we are in society now, everybody got to be, to fit in with the Joneses, or lack self-esteem or self-confidence. And where do you think internally? Because I know when you're talking with them, you're like their counselor too. Because on my end, I am. So I can imagine some of the conversations that you've had. So where do they initially say? Is it because of the parents, or more so their lack thereof also? Or
Yeah, it can be both. So you and I are both Dave Ramsey people.
Yeah.
Dave talks a lot about on his show and on his blog about the myths that have been perpetuated into the financial community, and one of those myths is that you need a 700 to 800 credit score in order to do anything in life. You need a 700 or 800 credit score to go out and get more debt easily. That's what you need a 700 or 800 credit score for. To go out and get a $30,000 credit card, or to go buy another vehicle for your small business that you don't really need, or whatever it is. So it's, unfortunately, when a myth is told over and over and over and over again, it's perpetuated like that, it just becomes science in a lot of communities. And it's pervasive in all communities right now, that you need to have a high credit score in order to do anything in life. When I work with clients and they come to me after a certain point, and I'm sure you see this too with people, at some, if you're working with like a 55-year-old couple, 65-year-old couple, it's too late for them to not have a credit score. It's too late in life at this point. They're going to need to maintain a credit score. But if we have like a spending issue, like you said, you mentioned, like, where does the debt start? So let's say we're working with a 65-year-old couple. They really want to retire, but they can't retire right now. They own a small business and they're working themselves to the bone. They do need a credit to maintain a credit score in order to continue for the rest of their financial life. And what I usually do with those people who have the spending and the debt problems, I actually allow them to keep a credit card, one or two. And what we do is we pick specific purchases, things that we know that are unchanging. Your cell phone bill is usually only off by a penny or two every month, right? Depending on what taxes Verizon decides to charge you this month. If you have gas heating in your house, during the winter, you usually know what it is. And during the summer, you usually know what it is. So things that are expenses every single month that are happening, no matter what anything else is going on in our life, that expense is going to be incurred. I'll actually put those expenses on auto pay on a credit card, and then immediately in their calendar, on my calendar, depending on how good we are at developing habits at this point, we will go in and we will pay that credit card immediately from the checking account within 48 hours. We're not waiting. So what we're doing is we're creating revolving debt, but it's an expense we were going to have anyway. So by having that revolving debt on the credit card, we're continuing to build the credit score, or keep it where it is, or get it back up, especially for a 65-year-old couple that might be moving into assisted living at some point. They do look at those things. But we're doing it kind of artificially because we're not incurring more debt. This is an expense. We're going to pay our cell phones. They want to talk to their grandkids, right? So they're going to pay that stuff anyway. So we put that on there and we show revolving debt building. Now, behind the scenes, we might have to cut up that credit card. We might have to say, listen, Grandma, no more shopping. We're done. The grandkids are 2. They don't know that you're not bringing anything to their birthday party. So the credit card physically might be gone, but the account is still incurring recurring charges. So you're still being able to build your credit score that way. For a 20-year-old, it's totally different. It's totally different. We could get rid of debt and get rid of credit and get that score down to not 0, but NA, not applicable, no credit score, and they can live their life like that.
Wow. Wow. I honestly, because I'm a Dave Ramsey ELP from the tax side, I've never gone so deep, and I'm supposed to be doing FPU soon, but it may not give me all of. I never even considered what life would be like without a credit score. Like literally, right? Do I even need one? No, I haven't pulled my credit. Oh my God. Okay, this is so surreal. Okay. Okay, so what about, oh, and you know what I wanted to add on too, guys, by you doing that approach, that also soothes the client that want to accumulate those points too. Oh, I just got a credit that say that's why they got a credit card to accumulate the points. So now you can show me right. So is it really you that just want to accumulate the points, or you want the debt? So that approach also soothes that urge and that need to want to accumulate the, Amex points and all of that, which the amazing benefits that come along with it. Okay, this is amazing. So, what is the significant difference between the cycle of debt that a 20-year-old would build now, and now the 60-year-old that's the baby boomer now? Basically, like, what is the significance between the two, and why, and financial coaching and stuff?
Yeah, it's a huge difference, to the point where Ramsey Solutions, the coaching team in Nashville, is actually starting to tailor some of the training for the coaches to baby boomers, because it really is baby boomers, Zoomers, Gen X, millennials, and then there's that little window there called Zennials. They're also called the Oregon Trail generation. It's like the group that grew up playing Oregon Trail on the computers in school, but like didn't have a cell phone growing up. So we're getting like real specific about people's behavior. And like you said, it depends on how they were raised, what their background is, what money was like for them growing up. What are the myths that were perpetuated? So yeah, so it really depends on the individual person. But in terms of the 60-year-old who's like, it's too late for you to bring your credit score to zero, or to bring your credit score to negligible. It's too late. We are going to have to maintain it. We're just too late in life. You're 20 years old, you're finishing an associate's, or you're already in the workforce, or you're in the middle of your bachelor's. We can, get you out of debt probably relatively quickly. Most people at 20 haven't accumulated too much. At 22, once we've done a 4-year college, you can accumulate a lot. I've got some people walking out of school with $130,000 in student loans. And that was half of what the school actually charged, which is amazing. Wow. But at that point, we can say, all right, we're making a conscious cognitive decision to live outside of debt. How are we going to do that? Because the rest of society loves debt, and they live within debt, and they love taking on debt, and they believe that having debt makes you, you have this much debt. Oh, now you're eligible for more debt. It's so unbelievable. So what I would tell a 20-year-old at this point is, first of all, we got to look at how much you have. And then what kind of debt is it? Is this a 2% federal student loan, which right now we're not even paying the 2%, right? Because we're still in the COVID pandemic, obligations. But are we looking at like a 2%, $100,000? Are we talking about like you made a stupid car purchase, or you racked up those credit card miles on spring break, the credit card balance on spring break, thinking you were going to get the free miles or whatever it was. So what kind of debt is it? And do you want to live like this for the rest of your life? Or do you want to keep that money, not pay it out in interest to the credit card companies, and be able to be the first one of your friends to buy a home?
Yeah.
No, but we really do have to change the thinking surrounding how important debt is. Again, it really depends on where everyone is in their life. For example, my husband and I carry zero debt.
Okay.
Zero credit card, zero debt whatsoever. But we have a mortgage. So the mortgage still shows up, right? So we're still participating in the cycle of debt in theory.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
Leads to my question though. So what is considered to you good debt? I think you might have just answered, because that was exactly what I was about to ask you. What do you consider good debt?
The only good debt would be a mortgage. Exactly. Something that is an investment. So my favorite argument is my car doesn't really lose that much value, so it's an investment, but it's still losing value, right? Yeah. From the time you bought the car to the 20-year period that you use it, 15 or 10 or 20 years, whatever kind of person you are, it's decreasing in value, right? And as a tax expert, you know about amortization schedules and things like that. We don't need to get that deep into it, but your car is depreciating, guys.
Yeah.
Unless it's a 1961 Corvette right now, it's depreciating.
Oh,
Your
wow.
home is, in theory, always appreciating. And think about it this way. I mean, did some houses drop in value during the 2008 crisis? Absolutely. I'm sure you dealt with a lot of those people, unfortunately, who were sitting there going, oh my God, do I sell my house? Do I walk away strategically from this mortgage? Well, guess what? If they had just stayed, everything eventually came back. We had a downturn last year. Everything's come back. My God, it is the craziest seller's market. I mean, you could sell your house for like $20,000 to $80,000 more than you should be getting for it right now. So if you held on to your house from 2006, 2007, you already recovered all of that. If you didn't freak out, the only people who get hurt on the roller coaster are the ones who jump off.
You know
if
what?
you stay on for the ride, you're going to make it to the end.
And you know what? Everybody's saying the same thing with the stocks. They're saying all of you that cannot hold on to stocks, you're not ready for the long game. And it's just showing across the board. So guys, what we need to take from this conversation before we go right into our next topic is that honestly, that car, which you already knew, the credit card to just accumulate points and things like that, and you never pay the balance off every month, is not really considered good debt. That is really, bad debt. And to you and to society or to other people, it may seem like it's really good, but in all actuality, you're going to be paying more money than what you would have. So even if it's only $17 worth of interest, think about it. If you take that loan out multiple times throughout the year and it's only $17 worth of interest, that $17 accumulate. Did you have that money to spend prior? So sometimes we have to now ask ourselves, do we have a budget? So that leads into my question to you, Suzanne. Like, how important is a budget?
So important. It is the glue, the fabric, the foundation, whatever word you want to use to describe it. It is the most important thing. It is the most important thing in your personal finances, and it is a necessity in your business. Absolutely. Like you said early on, it is a non-negotiable. If you are a small business owner, if you are a solopreneur, if you are, I don't care if you started yesterday, you need a piece of Excel, a workbook in Excel, and you need a P&L statement. You need to at least put down what your expenses are and what you are bringing in every single month. And spoiler alert, if you're just starting out, because listen, we all just started out, right? We remember back in the day when we weren't even paying ourselves. Here's the problem. Profit comes first. If you are not paying yourself, it is not a business. It is a hobby.
Yeah.
So the excuses of people putting money back into the business without paying themselves, it is the most important thing you need to do is take care of you, yourself, and your household. And if you have additional income, if you won the lottery and you don't need your business to make money, then that's fine. Don't call it a business. It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
But you got to pay yourself first. And when you're paying yourself and you have a salary set for yourself, again, you can be working a 9-to-5 in corporate America, or you could be just starting your business. We have to know what the income is, because the income is what drives the expenses and what drives the outgo. If we are over in our outgo, it's above and beyond our income, then we need to correct that. We can't be over. This is not, as Dave Ramsey likes to say, we are not in Congress. We need to control our spending.
Oh my goodness. So let me ask you something. So, everybody say, oh, Dave Ramsey or Pro say you can't even buy a Starbucks. Like, can you clear that up? Like, seriously, like, I just need clarity. I stay focused on my own lane and, try to make sure they're breaking even and, advising them properly to, reinvest their money into their retirement accounts and things like that. Now, please explain the concept and the mindset behind that.
So the first thing, so a lot of times I'll get a married couple, engaged, living together, whatever you want to call it. And one of them is what Dave calls the reluctant spouse, or the somebody on, one of the two people who's like this the entire time during the consultation, right? They are just, I'm not doing this. I'm not cutting out my pizza every day. I'm not cutting out my coffee every morning. I'm not listening to this lady. She doesn't know what she's talking about. The first thing, one of the first things we put in the lifestyle or personal category of our budget is fun money.
Yeah.
It has to be. You want to know why? Because they're not going to call me back after the first meeting if we don't have fun money in there.
Yes.
They are going to feel like they're in jail. They're going to feel like this woman is constricting me. This budget thing is bread and water, and this sucks, and I'm not doing it anymore. And we're not going to have session 2. They're going to call me and they're going to be like, you know what? This isn't for us. You cannot go from eating whatever you want to paleo, to keto, to the Atkins diet in 5 seconds. You can't do it. And you can't do the same thing with your money. I literally have some clients where coffee is a line in our budget. And guess what? We figure out what we're spending on coffee and we put it in the budget. Now, if we're going out 3 times a day, that might be a little excessive. We might say, listen, would you rather go out to Starbucks 3 times? Would you rather walk over to the Starbucks next to your office 3 times a day? Or would you rather be able to pay off that personal loan and then finally save for that down payment for the house that you want for your kids? Because that is a direct correlation. It is. I don't care what people think. Me buying this Starbucks isn't going to prevent me from buying a house. No, you buying that Starbucks every single day is going to preclude you and keep you from buying that house sooner than you want to have it.
You know what? And guys, I don't know. I always do the math. Sometimes do math on the table. So right now I buy the box of 140 cups from Costco. Okay?
Of the little cake cups?
140 cups. And I think how much? Okay, so I think I do one a day. So that gives me like 140 days. And so 140 times how much is the average Starbucks? Like their mocha latte, like $7?
I usually use, if they're getting like a small, like $3.98, so $4.98, something like that.
Say $5. So that's $700. Oh my gosh! And I'm only spending let's say like $3 a cup. Well, not even that much. 30-something cents. Not even that much. I didn't even do the calculation, but it's like 30-something cents I'm spending, guys, compared to you guys spending $5 to my 40, right? You're spending $7. Like, did I do that 140 times 5? Yes. 700. Oh my gosh, Suzanne. I see it now. I see it. Okay. So guys, no, we're not trying to keep you from buying your Starbucks, but you guys need to have a budget. And I always have that same approach too, like when I'm talking with clients, because I really don't advise too much on the budget, but I notice just off habit and just, because we're people of creatures, we need that extra, that room to, bend a little bit. And if we don't, we're going to push them away. And so I find it challenging now because documentation is key right now. And I'm sitting in an audit recently, and I'm in an audit right now, and you need receipts, you need notes, you need like the works. Like they'll take a lot of safe harbor regs, but you guys, so this is just letting you know, like, you may think managing your home is one thing. Try to now manage your business finances. If you cannot keep up, like I said, because yes, you got bills, you got to do your budget, but for the business, it's more. You got to have your P&L. You got to have, it reconciled. You need to actually really manage things. So what would you say to the client before we go out break? What would you say to the client that have very poor personal financial habits, and they call you, Suzanne, I want to go ahead and start a business, and they have $2,000 in their bank account? What would be your first course of advice for them? And they haven't done their budgets, they're still all over the place, but this is what they approached you with today.
In that situation, there's definitely a psychological aspect. I don't want to deter that person from one, like, so we're business owners, right? So full disclosure, I don't want to deter that person from working with me, but also I don't want to deter them from that dream of starting that business. So what I'm going to say is, okay, in order to do this correctly, next meeting, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna sit down for a full 2 hours. We're gonna, create a separate type of meeting for you. We're gonna do 2 budgets. We're gonna do 2 budgets. We're gonna do a household budget and we're gonna do a business budget. And sometimes when you present it as we need budgets for both things, people are more, accepting of it. There are definitely the existing small business owners. I had a couple clients in California who owned like 2 or 3 mechanic shops. They're making money hand over foot, millions of dollars a year. You want to know why they called me? They were selling the business. And they had never lived without the ability to take a draw from the business. Yeah. How often you've heard that? Just today, I actually coach other coaches. And one of my coaches that I coach, he goes, yeah, I had this really awkward consultation where the husband was taking whatever money he wanted from the business for whatever he wanted, but the wife had to take it from the household budget. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Yeah. So we've got to have those 2 budgets. We need to know where this is coming from. And we need to draw a line in the sand, and we need to say, it's okay to take a draw from the business if let's say you own a contracting company and you're buying $300 work boots. We're protecting ourselves. That's equipment. Fine. We can make that argument. But we also need to draw the line if we're going to say, hey, we need a new couch for the living room and we're just going to take it out of the business account. Technically, you should be paying yourself and then taking it out of the household budget. Or technically, you should be paying yourself and then saving up for that brand new leather couch, whatever it is, right? But we want to make that delineation between what is a business expense and what is a personal expense. So if you're starting out, or if you're in the middle of a business, or you're like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to retire and I don't have a budget, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's right now, we are recording this on March 30th. You got less than 48 hours to get an April budget set up. You can do it. You can do it in 10 minutes. You can easily do it in 10 minutes if you have the right tools and you say, I am going to do this. I'm going to try it for April.
Good question. So before we go to break, and then after the break, guys, we're going to have Suzanne give you guys some tools and softwares and stuff that you guys can use. So what do you think can break the cycle of debt?
Your want. Yeah. Your want has to be bigger. Your desires, your dreams have to be bigger than your habits. You have to figure out what those bad habits are. And we've got to figure out what the obstacles are to overcoming those habits. And then that way we can get to our end goal. Because I have this one client who I can say to her, don't you want to buy a house one day? And she just gets all emotional. It is her dream. She lives in a big city. It is her dream to own a house one day. And they're pushing $1 million where she is. I mean, it's crazy. And we're not even talking about anything that fancy. And when I say that, she gets so emotional. And the stuff that you want to accomplish has to make you emotional. You have to know your want has to be bigger than your desire for that cup of coffee.
You know what? That goes back to self-accountability. That goes back to accountability. And I've always told you guys, the way that we handle money, the way that we do things, it really is a reflection of how we feel internally, our lack of discipline, our morals, our values, our upbringing, all of the traumas, all of the pain and everything. And it seems like, honestly, Susan, when I'm walking my clients, new bookkeeping clients on, I have my onboarding money meeting with them, and I go through all of the money barriers that's stopping them from attracting and grabbing and attaining the clients and the financial resources that they're supposed to grab. And so, guys, she just concluded it. You have to face reality. You have to face reality. Okay. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break. What I advise you to do is grab your pen and your paper, because we're going to have Suzanne give you guys some tools and some resources and just a little bit of tips, if she don't mind, on how to really get this budget going, and just so it won't be so tedious. I know you guys don't want to do it. But it's necessary, guys. It's necessary so you guys can live the life that you dream. And like she said in her bio, be carefree, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. see, all caps, get notified, and look out for what we have coming out in store and all of our guests coming on the show, guys. Tonight was amazing. I hope that you guys learned a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. Your refund is not something extra, okay? That's another thing. Y'all sit here not even understanding that if you broke, you do need to find somebody to help you with your coins. I don't know why y'all think that accountants and financial advisors only work for the rich. Hell nah. I had to financially advise myself to even get to where I am now. Shit, when I was getting refunds, I had to financially advise myself on how to use the refunds. Like, guys, my story, I used my actual tax refund to build my business. I really did. I had Brim. Brim was born 2012. Started the business 2011, August. I got my refund and I put it right back into the business. I didn't have employees then. I didn't have a big office. I didn't have all of the stuff that we got right now. Right? I put it back into the business. So I had to financially advise myself too. So regardless of how much money you have or how much money you don't have, are you being smart with what you have? Are you going to do right with what you have? Make some investments, save some stuff, start your business, do some things. But the last thing I want you guys to do is just fuck it up. And that's been one of my drinks. That's my little Drake song. That's the last thing I want you guys to do, because we're still treading light waters right now, y'all. I don't know when we're going to get out of all of this mess. And I don't see anything happening overnight, because there's too much policies happening. They haven't even really niched down and say who deserved what or who's supposed to get what. Biden is putting in so many executive orders. Hey guys, so we are back. So we have Suzanne Johnson, a financial coach, a Grace financial coach. You guys, we were talking about before we left for our quick break, was that for you guys to really get comfortable with becoming carefree, okay, and debt-free, it starts with self-accountability. And I know it's hard to look at your past and to figure out why you overeat. It's hard to look back and see that, because you didn't have, financial peace in your personal life growing up, that you don't know how to manage credit cards, or you didn't have guidance. Like, it's hard to reflect back, guys, but overall you have to do that to break the barriers. It is literally no other way. You cannot run from the problem, and you cannot continue to just accumulate debt at the rapid pace that you guys are doing it. And the only thing that's stopping you all from getting to that level is, one, you retaining maybe guidance, coaching, or something like that. But then number two, you putting yourself into it. You have to be held accountable and responsible for your outcomes. Your wants, as Suzanne said, your wants have to become stronger than your habits. Okay. So this goes down to now you looking at your habits. Are you drinking? Are you smoking? Are you partying? Are you to really build wealth, guys, and to be carefree, it's a lot. So I promise that, she would give you guys some tips and some softwares, or, whatever she deemed that you guys may need to be able to get over that hurdle and become carefree. So can you tell the people?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a quote that's most often attributed to Zig Ziglar, but I'm not sure that he actually said it, the motivational sales speaker. And he goes, show me your calendar and your checkbook, and I'll show you what's important in your life.
Wow.
So I think we could say, show me your budget and your tax statement, and we will be able to pinpoint what's important in your life. Exactly. And guess what? We can't change that. You and I can't change that. I could send every single one of my clients to you to do their taxes. You could send every single one of your clients to me to get coaching. And guess what? They still have to be the ones to do it. So some of the tools that I give my clients, Excel. Excel is a free thing for most people. If you go to my website, which is Grace, Grace, financialcoaching.com, there is a free Excel sheet on there. Go ahead, download it. Take it for free. Just download it. There's a budgeting sheet on there. If you want something a little more robust, something that's going to give you accountability where you may not be, you don't have it yourself already, or you're not partnering with a coach, look up everydollar.com. And also it's an app. It's a little green icon. There is a free version of Every Dollar, and there is a paid version of Every Dollar. The paid version is where it's at. It is $130 for the year. For Pete's sake. Like, give me a break. If I knew what this software was going to do for me back in 2014, when they first announced that it was coming out, when I first learned who Dave Ramsey was, when I first took Financial Peace University, I would have given him $1,300 for this damn app. Wow. That's how powerful this thing is. If you connect this to your banks and you are diligent enough when there's a notification on that app to go in there and track your spending and track your debit card purchases and track your credit card purchases. And if you're moving money over to savings, or if you're pulling money from savings, if you have that accountability to just go into the app. I have one client, she calls it her video game. She's like, it's like a video game. I got to figure out where everything goes in the little maze, in the little app. It is so unbelievably powerful, but you have to want to do it. But honestly, for $130, I mean, I've had people sign up for it and then never use it. I mean, it's a waste, right? But for $130 for someone who's motivated, oh my word, it's life-changing. That is the number one tool that I used, physical, actual tool, to pay off $90,000 in debt when I was still single.
Okay, and repeat the software just in case they missed it.
Yes, everydollar.com. Yep. Or just Every Dollar in the App Store. It's on Android, Apple, all the iOS, all the operating systems. Yeah, it's amazing. So what it does is it'll talk to your bank. The fee is basically so that it can talk to your bank.
Yeah.
And it will pull in your transactions, and you'll have to assign those transactions a category. And you'll have to take a look in the mirror and say, oh, shoot. I had a lot of clients add alcohol to their budget last year during the pandemic because they couldn't go out. And I had a couple of clients and they were like, oh, this is getting bad. This is not good. Yeah. This is not good. We got rid of all the bar and the restaurant money, but we put it right into the alcohol budget. And then we even track things like we track subscriptions on there. So if you're doing Weight Watchers, or you have Audible or Amazon, just the monthly subscriptions, you wouldn't believe how much money some people are spending on monthly subscriptions, and they don't even know it.
Yep.
I had a client who was spending over $120 a month on dating apps she hadn't logged into in over a year.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
when was the last time you went on a date? She goes, it was before I started working with you.
Yeah. And then on the business side, they're doing coaches like that. So they're paying all of these coaching for their little membership, not little, but for their membership programs and just forgetting and not even going into it. I actually got caught and I told my staff, figure out how to get me out of this stuff. But you know what? So I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these programs make it very challenging for you to walk away. So as of now, I don't even think I've canceled it effectively. Honestly, and my assistant have been on a call, email, called the office, everything to get it canceled. So, okay, so everydollar.com, guys, that's your your money self accountability app. Okay, so anything else, like any tips or anything that you think that a person that is afraid to get that intimate with their finance or have been afraid to get intimate with their finances. So that would be one of the first steps that you guys take. Go to everydollar.com. And then what else do you think they should do, Suzanne, after they?
So I know you're gonna like this, and I'm not saying it just because of your tagline of the accountability accountant. It's true, but like you said in my bio, I give a lot of talks about the psychology of money, where we don't even talk about dollars. We just talk about forget about what it was like growing up. We get into some real deep stuff about why you're doing with your money, what you're doing. These are usually full hour and a half seminars. The one thing I can tell people is get an accountability partner. My favorite excuse is that I don't want to talk about money. We talk about sex, politics, and religion more than we talk about money in this country. And guess what? We need to stop talking about sex, politics, and religion in this country.
I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I'd rather for them just to talk about money. We can see some progress in society. You know, we'll see a little bit more control and discipline. The latter shows we're in chaos. Actually, those are the things that gets me. Honestly,
how often do you hear that gets people in trouble, right? I mean, it's either a sexual harassment case or somebody doesn't like this person's religion or somebody doesn't like this person's politics. That gets you into trouble more than anything else. Go up to one of your trusted friends and utter the words, I need help with my money. 88%, but this number that I'm giving you right now was pre-pandemic. So take that with a grain of salt. Pre-pandemic, 88% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
How much do you think that increased? It's probably over 90.
Yes.
It's got to be. It's got to be. So look at your circle of friends.
Yeah.
If you have 10 people you trust, or you are one of 10 people in your circle, right? So you got 9 friends. Guess what? You and 7 or 8 other people are living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Only one of you has got it figured out. But we all pretend that we have it figured out. We are trying to keep up with the Joneses, like you said. We are all just trying to keep up with Instagram. And I just got a text from one of my colleagues, and she's like, Instagram's down. I'm like, good. Good. But we've got to get out of this. We've got to remove ourselves from this stigma that we can talk about all of these other things with our dearest, closest, most trusted friends, but we can't talk about money. That's crazy. That's crazy. So find yourself an accountability partner. You probably already have one in your life, and you don't even know that you're both struggling with money.
Yep. Okay, guys. So look, we're getting close to winding down. I advise you guys to go ahead on and follow Suzanne on all of her social media platforms. Her Instagram for Twitter is Grace Finance. Okay, follow her on Instagram at Grace Financial Coach, and her website is gracefinancialcoaching.com. And I know many of you are wondering, like, why would you need a financial coach? Honestly, guys, you need an accountant and you need a financial coach. They're totally 2 different things. People assume that what I do is what you do and the latter. It doesn't work like that. No, she prepares you mentally, helps you build that discipline, and get you guys on a schedule to be able to live carefree. Now, what I'm going to do is help you take whatever money you save from what she's taught you and invest. You're going to invest it into your business, and I'm going to help you manage what you invest into your business, help you make more, save money on your taxes, and help you build the life that you dream of by being self-employed. but you need both. And you need financial coaching, guys, to break those everlasting generational curses, issues, traumas. And it starts honestly with self accountability in your money. The moment you take Suzanne's advice, go and download everydollar.com, guys. And I advise you to go ahead on and look yourself in the mirror after you go ahead on and look at what your spending is for the past 3 months and just set goals. That's all we're saying here. Set goals and make them goals trigger, like she said, some type of emotion so you can become a little bit more disciplined. But it requires you guys to really face the facts. So go and follow her on all social media platforms, guys. And is there any last minute words that you want to leave the audience with?
Discipline. I love how you say discipline all the time. It is not a 4-letter word. It is going to get you the results that you want. Is it going to hurt a little bit? It might. But you know what? Anything worth having hurt you a little bit in the first place on your way to getting it.
Yeah. So let's go out and rock it, guys. Go follow Suzanne on all social media platforms, and just message her and say Folasade sent me. So Suzanne, thank you so much for joining me on the Money Zone. I'm a little sick. I don't even know how I pulled it together, girl, but I'm here. I went brain dead for a minute. I don't think you caught me. I stuttered for a little bit, everything. Lost my train of thought and everything. My brain went dead. So now I appreciate your presence tonight, guys. And so, guys, please, if you guys have any questions, just send us a message. We're here, guys. Have an amazing night, everybody.